song kind of says it all. The Spinners, whenever somebody starts thinking or talking about politics. It's a shame here on 103.9 WSOS. Oh, my gosh. Dr. Blake Patterson is here with me live in studio. He, of course, is the chairman of the St. Johns County Republican Party. Good morning, Dr. Patterson.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Why do we spell
St.
it
John's.
with one T and not two? There's got to be a story behind it.
The son of the father, I don't know. Pater, P-A-T-E-R
Is that it?
Father in Latin. There was the Scotch and the Irish and the English. They were doing battle, and one clan put two, and one clan put one, and
there we have it.
there we have it.
But it seems like the vast majority are Patterson with two T's.
I spelled
right?
my name the right way.
Yeah, but it's kind of unique, right?
Like in Patterson, New Jersey,
Yeah.
the armpit of the nation.
Have you ever done one of those, like My 2 and 3, one of those genetic tests that will tell us all about your family tree?
I never have.
Oh, really?
My sister does that stuff, but she's
so she
into
would
it.
know where the two T's may have veered into one, or maybe there was never two T's in your family line.
There was never two T's except my grandpappy, who was a lumberjack in Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
Ended up migrating to Los Angeles. He started a carpet cleaning business, and he made it too. But that never passed on. That was way after, yeah.
I find that really
Way
interesting.
after progeny. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Good to see you. Happy birthday, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
What are you?
Yes.
Happy birthday,
You 73?
Kevin.
No, fully embracing 59, born in
59.
1964.
Okay, what a year that was, huh?
Yeah, big year, right?
The earth shook.
It did. I wasn't around for President Kennedy.
Yeah,
It happened before
you
I was
missed it.
born. I
Yeah.
just missed it. Blake is here, and we're going to talk. We got a special guest here in the studio who he's going to introduce here in just a second. But what's going on with Republican Party politics here in docile and calm St. Johns
Well,
County?
you missed it, man. We had a great event on the 9th of September. It was spectacular. We had the whole list of conservative luminaries. Carrie Lake was the keynote, the lady from Arizona that allegedly is announcing for Senate now, U.S. Senate.
Oh, wow.
After having lost her governor race. A well-known...
Why do we all know her for some reason? I mean, other than I know she felt like she was...
TV newscaster.
That's it, right?
She was very popular in Arizona.
Oh.
People loved her. She's written books, and then she decided to get active when the politics got radioactive.
Yeah, and that was held here in St. Johns County, up in Ponte Vedra, right?
At the Marriott Sawgrass.
Yeah.
And then we had Byron Donalds.
So did she give a good speech?
Yeah.
How long was
it? But to be honest, Congressman Donalds just lit the house.
Oh, he was better, huh?
Yeah. I mean, they were all great. They were all great. Don't get me wrong. But Byron, with his forcefulness, he lit the house. And of course, speaking of the house, he's been up there, and now he's got a lot of explaining to do to the conservative wing of the Republican Party because he was part of this whole shutdown and the motions and everything. It's beyond my pay grade.
Compromise.
I don't understand any of it. You do, I know, but I don't. And then Congressman Michael Waltz, he did a great job, great speech. And I happened to have accidentally cold called his mother when I was, pitching the venue, and so she was there, and so I said, "Amazing who you meet when you're cold calling a list of donors."
That's pretty funny. So his mom lives here in St. Johns
Yeah,
County?
yeah, she's in St. Augustine
That's
itself.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Blake Patterson, if you're just hopping in your vehicle, that's his voice, and he is the chair of the St. Johns County Republican Party. So when people, talk to you in your driveway or at the Publix or whatever, and they say, what does the St. Johns County Republican Party stand for in this day and age of Governor DeSantis running against President Trump and, all this stuff going on in Washington and, what's the purpose of your organization in the middle of all that melee?
Yeah, so what I do is I put my fingers in each ear and I go, no. Basically, we need to establish proper process and transparency at all levels of government, beginning with the county, going up to the state, going up to the federal government. When you look at what's going on in the federal government today, the mess that we have nationally, it's really that culture is derived from the states, and then that culture comes from the counties.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. Unfortunately, it goes upstream, not downstream.
So your focus is very much on good government here
in the
St.
county.
Johns County.
Yes, sir.
Right. So if people are out there listening and they're looking for an organization to volunteer for, an organization, to support financially, the Republican Party here in St. Johns County would be the way to do it if you really are concerned about good government here
Right.
locally, right in your backyard, right?
We've got a gazillion of volunteering opportunities. We kind of started from scratch in January when the new board took over, and we need help with grassroots work. We're starting a canvassing campaign early this year, and we're focusing on St. Augustine City and St. Augustine Beach, primarily because they're a majority Republican, but they tend to elect Democrats for some strange reason. And they also tend to be rather non-participative in their voting. So you got a lot of Republicans that don't vote in the primaries, and that's probably why the election results are what they are. So we're focusing on that. As obviously evidenced by me being here, we've built a social media and advertising presence. We have needs to help for the website that we run, our social media channels, etc. So there's plenty to do if somebody wants to focus on communications because they have those skills or strategy. We need help with accounting and budget. So all walks of life are welcome, especially folks that have a tolerance for some degree of political pain. Because the song "It's a Shame," right?
Right.
Well, it's more like "You Hurt So Bad" by Johnny Cougar Mellencamp, or "Hurt So Good." Sorry, "Hurt So Good." Yeah.
So how would people get a hold of you if they wanted to help?
Yeah, www.stjohns.gop, www.stjohns.gop, or you can call our office at 904-717. What's that other number there? 2016. 904-717-2016. So call. We'd love to chat. Have you come in and meet us. Come to an orientation meeting if you want to figure out what it's all about. You can also, on the website, register to come to a meeting. Our business meetings are a bit raucous, but that's, the end result hopefully is always good. You're all invited.
What do they say? Democracy is not necessarily pretty, right? It's the best thing we figured out how to govern ourselves with, but it can be ugly from time to time, right?
Is it a Republican? Yes, a Republican democracy.
Right.
We're a republic.
Yeah. Small r, lowercase r.
Yeah.
But you can't complain unless you do something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the key thing, right? A lot of people like to watch Fox News and be in a bad mood, but
Yeah.
if you volunteer and work with the St. John's County Republican Party, you can actually do something about it.
I mean, and it's amazing what civility brings to life into the table. I mean, here you and I are from our backgrounds are very different politically, and yet here we are. We're best friends, and we have lunch 8 times a week, don't we?
Yeah, it's getting to be too frequent. People are going to start talking.
Yeah.
Go to stjohns.gop. That's stjohns.gop. So let's tease our next segment.
Yes, sir.
We're going to play a song or two, but before we do that, introduce your special guest.
Yes. So it's been a great pleasure and a privilege to know Bill Freeman for the last couple of years. I've known Bill since he was working at the St. Augustine County Administration. He's a professional engineer, a civil engineer. He's spent his entire career in engineering, and has done a lot of other stuff in his life. He is a local boy. Would you go to St. Joe's?
Yeah, I went to St. Joseph Academy.
Yep. St.
Go
Joe's.
Flashes.
A member of the Cathedral Parish, and all good.
Yeah.
All good.
So we're going to come back and talk with Bill about why he is running for office here locally, and we'll spend some more time with Dr. Blake Patterson. And this is the time we spend each and every month with the St. John's County Republican Party. Stay tuned. Song that Dr. Blake Patterson hums to himself at the end of any county Republican meeting. Hurts so good. It's so good. They appreciate your leadership, right?
All for a good thing, good cause.
Yeah.
So wonderful to have Bill Freeman here, and I've sort of developed a pattern in the last few interviews we've done, which is starts with, why are you doing this, Bill? You're running for what? You're running for
County Commissioner, District 3.
District 3, which is Roy Lamo's seat.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we have an incumbent, Roy. How do you pronounce his name?
Alamo.
Yeah. Who was appointed by Governor DeSantis, right?
That's correct.
Because we had an opening. And so why would you want to do this?
Well, first of all, I'm born and raised here. Love St. Augustine. I mean, this is where I've spent most of my life. I enjoyed surfing, just hanging out downtown. It's a great place to live and raise the family. But over the years, being an engineer and owning my own business, I definitely learned what it takes to be frugal and how to make a successful business run. And I started working at St. Johns County, and I worked there for nearly 10 years. And while I was there, I observed a lot of things going on in the commission races, the commission anyways, the decisions that get made. And every time I saw something being made, it just kind of, especially with growth, it made things so bad. Right now, if you look at our growth, it's just out of control. Somebody's got to stop all this growth right now. They got to say no. And when I see all this growth happening, it's time to just stop it. And that's one of the reasons that I want to get on the board and look at these developments that come up, because I'm going to say no to anything that just doesn't make sense.
So we always hear from people that notion sounds good, sounds easy, but it's illegal, that it's impossible to do that, right? That if as a county commission we voted to stop all development, put a development moratorium in place because of private property rights, the commission would immediately get sued, and you'd probably lose in court. That's the argument that we get from the other side. So I want to put that out there and let you respond to it.
So one of the things that a lot of people do is they rezone. So the board has to preside over a bunch of land use changes, and people will come to the board and ask for land use changes. Now, if they have property rights, that's already existing. So whatever the zoning is now, that's what they have the rights to. They come in there, and what they want to do is they want to do more than what's allowed. So those are the things that I would be against, because the more growth we have, our infrastructure just can't take it. We've got too much traffic on our streets. Our schools are overcrowded, and we just can't keep up with all this, the needs to meet the growth.
Okay. All right.
So you've talked about how you love the county. How would you preserve what you and we all love about St. Johns County?
Well, it first starts with our growth. That's one thing that if you keep letting all this growth happen and changing the nature of our county, it was always a very rural county. And that's one of the things I liked about it. And it's turning into an urban environment. And that's what I want to preserve, is our rural community that I grew up in. And the first thing to do is just to vote no on a lot of these developments that are coming through to the board, and just they don't have any thought on how to make everything blend together. In other words, if you look at some of these developments, they just leapfrog out into the areas where there was farming, forest areas. They just keep spreading out. This urban sprawl takes more, it impacts our traffic worse all the time, and we have to keep building new schools, and we just can't keep up with all this growth. And so I would just vote no. I'm just tired of it.
So, Bill, you mentioned zoning. Isn't that handled by the Planning and Zoning Board? And what impact does a county commissioner have on the Planning and Zoning Board?
Okay, so the Planning and Zoning Board, that's a separate board. You've got the Board of County Commissioners and the Planning and Zoning Board. So what they do is they oversee what's in the Land Development Code, and you also have the future land use and the comp plan. So what they do is they try to establish what areas of growth are best, are most compatible for the area. And when they're looking at a project that comes through, they try to make sure that if you're building a new development, it has to be compatible and it has to be advantageous to the surrounding area. And if it's not, that's why I would just say, look, you're going to affect traffic, you're going to affect drainage, you're going to affect our schools, and you're just clear cutting all these trees. I'm just not for that. And that's one of the reasons I just would say, no, we got to stop. Keep our area a rural county.
Got it. Got it. So, in that light, what do you think makes you different from the other candidates? Now, currently you've got Clay Murphy, and who else running?
Well, you have Roy Lamo, and
has Roy announced, or is he?
I haven't heard an announcement. And there is somebody by the name of Sandy Flowers, I think.
Yep.
So, well, one of the things that sets me apart from the others is my experience. As an engineer, with my experience in matters that affect land use, planning, engineering, drainage, infrastructure, I have a lot of knowledge of all that stuff. And so when somebody comes to me with a development and they're talking about, well, we want to do this is going to be great for the community, I can look at it and I can kind of pick it apart and basically say, look, there's better ways of doing that. And I can give examples. So I really I want to use my experience, especially my engineering background and the time that I spent working for St. Johns County.
How many years was that?
About 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And so all those years that I was at the county, I saw a lot of things in the background, how it works, dealing with purchasing, the legal department, our public works, parks and rec, all the departments. I worked with all of them, even growth management. So I just know so much about what goes on, what decisions get made, why they make the decisions, and I feel like I can make an immediate impact. If you remember, you had an interview a while back. It was with Christian Whitehurst. And one of the things he said in this interview is that it takes about 1 to 2 years before you really know what's going on to be effective in the decisions you make. So I can make an immediate impact, and I don't have to wait 1 to 2 years just to get familiar.
Yeah, don't have a ton of learning,
Got
not
it.
a big learning curve, right? As opposed to people who've only lived here a couple of years, who've never worked in county government. So if people want to learn more about your campaign, is there a website? Is there a way to volunteer, a way to just learn more about you?
Yeah, you can go to my website. So it's www.votebillfreeman.com. Once again, www.votebillfreeman.com.
Very good. All right, we'll be back. Song that St. Johns County Republicans will be singing to Dr. Blake Patterson 20 years from now. You're still the one. You're still our favorite chairperson.
Lord help me.
I wonder what the longest serving county Republican chairman.
Just 2 terms, I think. 4
I
years.
thought 2 hours, but okay,
Yeah,
2 terms.
that's just frequently.
Blake already did that. 2
There-
hours
there
are
had-
gone.
Yeah, there's been plenty of attempts there.
We chuckle about it, but
Yeah.
thank you for your public service. I mean, you do it, of course, because if you're chairman of the St. Johns County Republican Party, you make big money, right?
Oh yeah, it's $0. Actually, it's negative because I'm spending.
That's
Yeah.
right. You do spend your own money.
Yeah.
You do the right
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you getting involved in our community. It makes a difference, and unfortunately, people sometimes attack the people that give up their time, and they shouldn't. Dr. Blake Patterson is here with us. Got a very special guest with you who's also making himself available for public service.
Yes, Mr. Bill Freeman of District 3, who's running for county commissioner seat there. So, Bill, you mentioned just a few minutes ago, you mentioned the zoning, and we talked about the planning and zoning board. Can you elaborate a little bit more, expand on, the different types of zoning and how it is that we've ended up in this circumstance where a lot of land that previously was either being used for agriculture or for single-family, ranch, where you've had maybe 10 acres around the house, or is now being converted. How does that work?
So back in the early 90s, the county adopted a comprehensive plan. And what they did is they established particular zonings in areas of the county. So a lot of it was agricultural out towards the southwest part, Hastings and that area. Much of the northwest was actually rural silviculture. Basically, it was timber. And along the interstates, you had a lot of industrial or highway, commercial highway intensive, commercial general along some of your major thoroughfares. And then, of course, you have residential scattered throughout. But a lot of the area is open rural, and that's a 1 acre minimum lot size. And that's what I'm used to from around here. Everything was pretty much open rural. But what they've done over the years, as developers would come in, they would actually request to change the comp plan and change it from whether it was rural silviculture or agriculture. They would change that to something like a Res B, and then they would go in and rezone it to a PUD, a plan unit development. And so they would try to get a much higher density, 8 to 12 houses per acre. And that's what they started doing. And it all happened when, up in the northwest sector, when they started to provide water and sewer, JEA extended all the utilities down here, and they took advantage of that. And they were able to build such a density, because you can't go to that density without public water and sewer. If you just had well and septic, half acre is about the smallest you can go.
So isn't that all that you need for infrastructure?
You mean the infrastructure, or?
Well, sewer and water is
Oh.
infrastructure, but I'm teasing you here. Isn't that all that you need?
Well, I mean, look, lots of places have used well and septic for years.
Yeah.
It works just fine.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with it.
And a dirt road's just fine too.
I've got no problem with it.
Yeah.
But I understand. Some people, they really don't like that. And over the years, as you get more money and you get a better tax base, you can start to pave those roads that were once dirt, and you can improve your infrastructure as the money comes in. Right now, what's happening is the growth has come so hard and fast that the expense happens before the money is generated through income through your property taxes.
Right.
We just can't keep up.
So we went through the famous 1 cent proposal, the property the retail sales proposal last year, and unfortunately it didn't pass. But in that we have the county administration, public relations arm of the county administration, in addition to many of, if not all of the then seated commissioners, crying poverty that we don't have enough money to build our infrastructure. So if you were to become a county commissioner, and let's just take it at face value, they're right, there's a shortfall in terms of what needs to be spent on infrastructure versus our needs. What would you do, and what would be your spending priorities?
So first of all, when it comes to the 1 cent sales tax, I would never be in favor of that. I don't believe in ever giving the government more money because they just don't spend it wise enough. And one of the things that I would see is when it comes to spending, you got to look at your priorities and really determine what you need. Do you need a road or an intersection improvement, or do you need a new park or a library? Which one is more important? And so you have to prioritize those, and based on what the needs are, you have to spend the money where it makes more sense. Just can't start building new buildings. Hey, we need a new, recreation department headquarters, or we need a new building department headquarters. You just can't start doing all that without first spending money where it needs to be spent.
I've often wondered, looking at going to the county commission meetings, which I haven't done very much since I became chair, but going to those meetings and looking at the administration, what would be the best job to have as just working in administration? I'm not talking about the dollars. I'm talking about the smoothest sailing, check out of there at 33 and a half hours a week or something and get paid full time. What's the best job in administration?
The best job in administration.
Is it the guy that manages the consultants?
Well,
because it seems like everything goes out to consultants now.
Yeah. So one of the things that I did, I was head of construction services. And as an engineer, look, there's a lot of engineers who work at St. Johns County who are making north of six figures. And me as an engineer, especially with my background owning my own company and spending all those years in the private sector, I used to look around and I said, well, look, we're capable, aren't we? Why don't we do some of this stuff? I can handle some of this permitting, some of the little designs. Why do we need to consult out with somebody? Because we spend a lot of money consulting out all the time. Do we have to consult all the time? Just doesn't make sense. I saw a lot of that going on, and it just made me sick.
Yeah, man. It's government.
It's government. And if you want to make a change, if you want to be a part of the change, we encourage you to get involved in campaigns. When you hear a candidate, you should, learn more about them and then hopefully help them out, either financially or with your time. They can do that in your case, Bill, by doing what?
Well, they can visit my website, www.votebillfreeman.com.
That's right. And if you want to be just a part of the process ongoing, you can always volunteer and become part of the St. Johns County Republican Party. They are accepting new members.
Yes, sir.
And the process for becoming a member
the
not
rejection
too hard.
rate is zero. No.
Yeah.
www.stjohns.gop. That's www.stjohns.gop. And telephone number is 904-717-2016.
That's right, 904-717-2016. It is 1.5 minutes after 10 o'clock. We're live from St. Augustine.
You're not so down. You like your life. say it's easy, just a natural thing. Like playing music, but you never sing. Ooh, Jackie Blue, making wishes that never come true. Going places where you've never been. Ooh, Jackie, you're going again. Ooh, Jackie Blue, lives a dream that can never come true. Making love is like sifting through sand. Ooh, Jackie, it slips through your hands. Every day in your indigo eyes, I watch the sunset, but I don't see it rise. Moonlight and stars in your strawberry wine. You take the world, but you won't take the time. Ooh, Jackie Blue lives her life from inside of a room. Makes you think that her life is a drag. Ooh, Jackie, what fun you have had. Ooh, Jackie. Ooh, Jackie. Ooh, Jackie. Ooh, Jackie. Hey, 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 hey.
When was the last time you had a really good home-style meal? I'm talking mac and cheese so good your tongue will slap your brains out of your head. I'm talking sloppy joes that will make you cry thinking of mama. Or black-eyed peas that will bring you more good luck than you could ever use. Amazing meatloaf, chicken strips, pork chops, and pot pies. This is Murph, and I guarantee everything we do is homemade with only the freshest ingredients. Delivered to your door, or you could pick it up just off West King Street. Go to murphshomestyle.com or call 500-MURPH. That's 904-500-MURPH.
People try to put us to down. Talking about my generation. Just because we get around. Talking about my generation. Things they do look awful. Talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation. This is my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. My generation. My generation, baby. Dig what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation. This is my generation. This is my generation, baby. My
cause we could get around. My generation, things ain't do look awful cold. My generation, I hope I die before I get old. My generation, my generation, baby. My generation.
Song from The Who from back in the day. A generation back in the late 60s that was frustrated by politics, Dr. Patterson.
Yes, sir. I was one of them.
Yeah, and they were talking about, you're just not listening to me. Don't be talking bad about my generation. Now they're all baby boomers in their 80s.
You know, yeah, that's what's great about it. You listen to that music and you think of those times when we're all on Social Security now.
Oh, I know. And a lot of the folks that like that music or like that message back in the day, the message back then was, the status quo is bad.
Yeah.
You got to change it.
The circle of life.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There's that song, and the other good protest song is Buffalo Springfield. For what it's just the ultimate sort of.
Well, which song was that? Refresh my memory.
Oh, it was a song about the Vietnam War. Or the other one,
the Revolution's here or something.
Yeah. A lot of those songs, and the Beatles, of course, had a Revolution song, and all that from a generation that's now firmly in their 60s and 70s, which is funny. Dr. Blake Patterson is here with us. He is the chair of the St. Johns County Republican Party. If you want to do something about politics that really impacts your life, I would argue you do it local, do it close to home.
Yes, sir. That's
right.
We all want to change what's happening on Capitol Hill, and there's so much that we don't know about what's happening on Capitol Hill. I mean, there's a lot of upset folks this weekend, and I can't really help people feel better because I don't understand it either.
Right.
It's what we don't know that determines outcomes.
Yeah.
So we can focus on what we know, which is down here in our county, and that in the end impacts the state, and in the end hopefully filters up to the federal government.
So with that said, we have some big elections here coming up. Obviously, a presidential primary election in mid-March. That's almost, you can almost count the weeks to that. That'll be a big deal, coming right after Super Tuesday. But then in August of next year, we have primaries here for local office, and that's really important stuff. Our budget now in St. Johns County, well over $1 billion a year, and 5 individuals get to decide how that money's spent.
Yes,
effectively.
That's a heck of a position.
Yeah, and one of the leading candidates to serve in that role is with you today, and we've spent some time with him in the last 30 minutes. Why don't you reintroduce him, and then we're going to ask him to give us his best 30-second campaign pitch.
Yes, right from St. Augustine itself, Bill Freeman, born, raised, and he's built his life here, has his family and kids here. So, Bill, you're running for District 3 County Commission. You've got 2 filed opponents and 1 likely incumbent. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing just great. By the way, that's with 2 E's. I know you only spell your name with 1 T, but I got 2 E's in mine. Free man. And that's what I am, a free man.
Are you a free bird?
Not a free bird. I'm a free man.
Leonard Skinnard, yeah.
What that also means is that I don't answer to anybody but the people. I don't have any developers or special interest folks who are pushing my campaign. This is all just me, grassroots campaign. And I want to take my knowledge as an engineer, the time that I spent with St. Johns County, learning how the ins and outs of local government works. I even went back to school and got my master's degree in public administration. And I want to work for the people. I want to slow the growth, and I want to stop the waste. And if you want to help, please visit my website. It's www.votebillfreeman.com. I could use anybody who wants to put a sign in their yard, fundraising, or help me go out there and just campaign. I'd love your help.
That's great. That's a good message.
There you go, Bill.
That works. All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That website one more time.
It's www.votebillfreeman.com.
Hey, this is the time that we spend with the St. Johns County Republican Party. Dr. Blake Patterson is its chairman, and we'll be back.
When you were gone, I
The Electric Light Orchestra here on 103.9 WSOS. This is the time that we spend each and every month with the St. Johns County Republican Party and its chair, Dr. Blake Patterson. He's a medical doctor and works really hard and does a lot of different things, but volunteers in this role, right? Don't get paid a dime to do this.
Yes, sir. It's, got to do it for my grandkids.
Yeah. How often do you guys meet, the Republican Party?
Once a month.
Once a month?
Typically the first Thursday, although this month it's going to be the 12th of October at the Holiday Inn World of Golf. If you want to come, you must register in advance. So go to www.stjohns.gop. We have an easy online registration form, and then we'd love to have you as a guest.
That's awesome. Those meetings usually start about what time, and how long do they last?
If you're visiting for the first time, we suggest you get there at 5:30 to complete your registration, and then we serve free pizza and pop.
Pop.
Soda.
Yeah, Midwesterner.
Yeah, as they say it up
Pop.
north, tonic.
Yeah. So you
Pepsi. We don't do
Is that why we do the registration, because of the free pizza, or?
No, that's to, induce you to come more and to volunteer and to join and all that. We want to get to know you.
Hey, you can learn more about participating in the St. Johns County Republican Party. If you want to get involved in politics that's closer to home, closer to the grassroots, the things that matter in your life day to day, go to stjohns.gop. That's St. John's, stjohns.gop. And once you get involved, you'll learn that there's some real policy issues that go on all the time here in St. Johns County and St. Augustine that could benefit from some public input, right? And you've given some thought to some of these.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, my wife and I took a long walk on the beach, North Beach,
that's nice.
North Beach down to Volano, about 5 miles.
Very romantic.
And then back.
Did you hold hands?
No. We collected shells.
Okay.
She's a shell artiste.
All right.
But anyways, I was really, it strikes you right in the face when you do that, because that's where all the renovation's going on. They call it a renovation. But really what they're doing is they're pumping sand in from out in the open ocean.
Yeah.
And so much of it's already washed away with these storms we've been having the last 2 weeks. I mean, you can see it because the sand is a different color. Mm-hmm. So it's already back out in the ocean. It's spread from where the pipe is that's pumping it in, like 200 yards down. And you wonder, how is it that this is happening? How is it that our government, and those are federal funds by and large, I think. Bill would have known better than I do. But how is it that our government works this way that we do something at face value, at least when you look at it? I'm not an engineer anymore. I used to be when I was a kid. But basically, how is it that we make decisions like this? And, we have all the back and forth on the county government, county commission, all the other elected positions. The reality of it is when you step back, you say we are a two-shop town, effectively. We have tourism and all the industries or businesses that come from that. And then we have land development and all the industries and companies and businesses that come from that. And, that's sort of an outsized influence of two economic forces, land development and the homes and everything else, and tourism. And it would really be great for us if we expanded our economic base. In other words, we diversified as a county and began to have other industries that are very profitable, that's causing companies to come in, et cetera. And I want to follow up on the meeting the visit we had with Dennis Clark of the Airport Authority a few months ago here on this show. He's turning that place upside down. This is a follow-up to his time on air with us. And, they're now actively planning on putting in some hotels and office parks at the airport. And that's wonderful because previously it was unused land under the last people that controlled the Airport Authority. And then on top of that, I keep on bugging them. Look, you got Northrop Grumman there. You got all that space on the west side of US 1. He's going to build another runway. They're going to build another runway, apparently, parallel to it, I think. Why not find a way to help companies either start up here, local entrepreneurs, or move here from elsewhere to support, whether it's the avionics or the retrofits or service companies, to support a company like Northrop Grumman. So it's not just, another hangar for Piper Aircraft, which doesn't really create that many jobs, but actual companies that would say, this is a good place to be. We love St. John's. We love St. Augustine. This is a great place to live, raise a family. My employees would love it here. Why not make that investment? And there must be people that are working within Northrop Grumman. Hopefully they're hearing me right now that are saying, wow, I would love to build a company I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to be my own entrepreneurial self. I want to run my own business, and I'm willing to take the plunge and do it right here at St. Augustine Airport. It's a resource that I think is laid fallow too long. Unfortunately, we have a great patriot, Dennis Clark, who's quietly, completely remaking the board of the airport authority and moving us forward in that direction. So that's good news. And the more new industries or new companies we have in town that are outside of that orbit of land development and all of its downstream companies, or tourism and all of its downstream companies, the better off, the healthier our county will be, not only economically, but politically. And we're all going to be happier, and, kumbaya.
Wow, man.
Kumbaya.
We see the end goal, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you want to get involved, there's so many issues as St. Johns County continues to grow. Some would say grow too fast, too much. However you come down on that issue, it is great to get involved in local politics, and I would urge you to learn more by going to stjohns.gop. That's stjohns.gop. Closing thought before we let you go?
Life is good. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Praise the Lord.
There you go.
I am